Hey, thanks for tuning in to TC McCarthy, the most entertaining and handsome science fiction author on video. Please buy my books that are coming out in 2019. The first one's Tyger Burning, published in July of 2019 from Baen Books. You can go online and buy it early, and it'll be delivered to you on the day that thing comes out. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite planets, and one that really isn't given any attention whatsoever. That is the planet Mercury. Mercury is the planet that's closest to the Sun, and a few interesting facts about it. It was named after a Greek god. And although a year on Mercury is only 88 days, it whips around the Sun. The weird thing is that a day on Mercury is 170-something Earth days. So the thing rotates, but it rotates very, very, very slowly. At first, astronomers thought that it was basically one side faced the Sun, and it didn't rotate at all. Mercury is tiny. It's the smallest planet in the universe, but size in this case doesn't matter because it's the second most dense planet in the solar system. And it's dense because it's basically heavy metals and rock. That's all the thing is. But it does, interestingly enough, it does have ice kind of near the poles where you get constant shadow. There's water ice up near the poles. Despite its density, however, its small size means that its gravity is about 0.38% that of Earth. So you're gonna look like you're bouncing on the moon if you ever go to Mercury. I wouldn't go to Mercury, however, because it basically has no atmosphere, and you're gonna get bombarded with basically UV light. So if you ever step outside your spacesuit, you're gonna burn almost instantly. I made that one up. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm guessing it's right. Now, Mercury, because it has a liquid core, or at least partially liquid core, it does have a magnetosphere, and so there is some protection from the solar wind. One thing you might not realize is that Mercury is only the second hottest planet. The first hottest goes to, drumroll please, Venus. Venus is the hottest because of its cloud cover and greenhouse gas effect. Only 2 spacecraft have visited Mercury. Mariner 10, I think, visited it, and Messenger, one of the more recent NASA missions, actually went to Mercury and wound up, I think, plowing into the surface. Could there be life on Mercury? I don't know, but it does seem to have the building blocks of life. Some scientists think there's organic material on the surface, and like I said earlier, there is water in the form of ice. So whether or not liquid water ever forms, to help life kind of get a kickstart, I couldn't tell you. But the building blocks are there. Whether or not it's enough to actually get life going, I doubt it, but I don't know. One of the odd things about Mercury, too, when we talked about organics and water, there's a huge concentration of sulfur on the surface of Mercury, and that's something that puzzles scientists. They don't understand why there's so much sulfur there. Another interesting thing is the water that is there in the form of ice appears to be younger than the planet itself. So what scientists think is that water got deposited through impacts of meteorites, comets, those sorts of things. So I guess you could say there is alien stuff on Mercury, alien water. Mercury behaves in a way like a comet. It actually has a coma. It has a stream of gases that get shot off of its surface when in sunlight. And what it is basically sodium gas being shot off toward the sun. And what would happen is if you were on the surface of Mercury, it would act almost like a vapor light of some kind that you would see in a street light and would give off an orange glow. Now on Mercury, there are some features that are basically massive canyons and cliffs. The canyons that basically are huge. Compared to the Grand Canyon would be nothing. The reason these features exist, scientists think, is because Mercury is the incredible shrinking planet. It is shrinking. It's getting smaller. And it's shrinking because it's losing heat, and as the planet cools and loses heat, it starts to contract, and so you see in the crust, you see these features form where you get these massive cracks, formation of canyons, etc. Now, I believe a European mission will be kicking off to go explore Mercury in more detail, and in this particular case, the mission is going to specifically look for life. We find life in Earth on very, very harsh environments, and scientists want to take a look at Mercury to see if anything can form there, because right now we're finding exoplanets. We're finding planets in other parts of the galaxy, circling stars that have harsh conditions like Mercury faces. And so the more data we can gather on whether or not life can form under certain conditions, the more we'll be able to say or predict whether or not life could exist elsewhere. That's important information, and that's a good way to spend somebody's tax dollars, in my opinion. Fortunately, I don't pay European taxes. Now, the guys designing this craft are facing a problem that really NASA, I don't think, has faced, and that is, how do you build something that can survive in that kind of heat? If it's on the sunny side of Mercury, it's going to be facing a lot of heat, 400 and something degrees Celsius, I think. I think it's actually 430 degrees Celsius. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a lot of heat. and so they have to put a lot of heat shielding on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and that adds a lot of weight. So there's a lot of design considerations that have to go into the design and build of this craft. That said, I hope they get it off the ground. I hope it gets delivered appropriately and safely and along mission, within mission parameters. And I hope we start getting data and pictures back from Mercury that tell us whether or not life can exist there, because that would be pretty damn cool. Anyway, that's all I've got for the planet Mercury. Thanks for watching. Again, buy my books. End transmission. Hey, T.C. McCarthy here, the most eclectic and entertaining science fiction author on YouTube, maybe even the internet. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. As usual, buy my books. I've got a new one coming out in July, and I'll have a giveaway coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. Appreciate you subscribing to my channel, and please, 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 please don't forget to click that little bell icon so that whenever I upload new content, you get notified. Thanks again. See you soon.